I'm not supposed to go over 15 minutes.
Are you recording?
Everything, yeah. Don't worry, nothing we talked about is bad.
No, I don't care. I just like to wonder why about everything.
I'm working on a YouTube channel, and I'm...
Oh shit, am I going to be on it?
Probably. Yeah, your conversation, I told him about it, but the conversation is really interesting.
It could have been much better, man. Holy shit.
Well,
I knew I was
I also don't like to get sucked
I
into
would put some makeup on.
iffy subjects, okay? Well, go dance with Ricky
I would have at least done
Rebel if you really want to show up on YouTube in a weird way. But
what's your channel?
American Nomad News.
I'll look it up right now.
And there's not really good content on it because I am a lousy cinematographer with no equipment, and I've been off air for months until I got this camera, which I don't have the equipment to properly edit, nor the training to properly edit. So it's all raw fisheye lens material.
No,
And it's largely about my cat that I found it recently in the desert, half dead.
Damn.
Yeah, I saved his butt, and he's still skinny and lazy, super spoiled, insanely picky about food, and he really, really likes me.
Yep.
And he's got major separation issues. So he's just complex enough for me to be completely like enamored with the guy. He's a way cool cat, and he rides on my backpack everywhere. So what's your role in the Air Force? What do you do?
So I'm a data analyst.
Data analyst, okay.
Mostly just maintenance data. Nothing Intel, no Intel stuff.
What stuff?
Like maintenance, like aircraft maintenance.
Scheduled maintenance stuff.
Yeah. So
At such and such number of revolutions, this generator needs a new wingding.
Pretty much. Yeah. Stuff like that. But yeah, I'm actually trying to cross-train into some intelligence type stuff, or like linguist or something. I don't know. But I think that would be cool as hell.
Well, here's a crazy thought for you. One of the things that people will eventually transfer out of the Space Force and into private industry will be managing large numbers of objects in the solar system.
Right.
And not all of them man-made.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the sciences that's required for that is a deep understanding of orbital mechanics.
Okay.
Go look up the three-body problem. And also go look at the cycler orbit.
I think I've seen that.
The cycler orbit?
Yeah, I don't know about three-body though.
The three-body problem.
I like a lot of astrological stuff. I'll look it up.
Orbital mechanics, at its core, has two symbols. Delta V. Little triangle and the capital V.
Okay.
Delta stands for change, V for velocity. It gets real complicated when you start adding all the necessary other stuff and you start getting into trigonometry.
Yep.
You start getting into what else is it called? Because I know I've forgotten more shit than I can name.
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics is about atomic stuff.
Yeah.
That's largely about. This is Newtonian physics.
Okay.
Okay. Essentially, what is important is the electrical, magnetic, and gravitational forces,
Yep.
and how they interplay with mass and time. If you take a weight on a string and you run it through a little tube that you hold in your hand, and on the other end you have another weight. It's a little heavier than the one on top. The one on top will go to your hand, and the other weight will go down.
Right.
Until you start to spin it. And then you cause that centrifugal force to add,
Right.
right? They say that it has more mass in a way,
Right.
which is some mind-bending stuff.
Well, F equals M times A?
It sounds really familiar,
Force
yeah.
equals mass times acceleration?
I'm more of an intuitive understanding of it. and I have a loose understanding of some of the mathematical
Yeah,
terminology.
it's a simple equation. F equals m times a.
Yeah.
Force equals mass times acceleration.
So, here's the thing. If I have Earth, right, and I have the moon going around, okay, and then I introduce another object. This object actually affects Earth.
Yeah, everything affects each
But
other.
because the Earth is so much more massive, this is way more affected by Earth than Earth is affected by this.
Right. But it's still
And all those that relationship exists between the Earth and the moon and the object, and the moon and the object's mutual relationship backfeeds into the relationship with this object, and so forth. But it gets really stupidly complex.
What's the butterfly effect?
Okay, when it comes to orbital mechanics, the butterfly effect is that we have a nearly uncountable number of objects in the solar system, especially if you count the solar system as coming from the shock front, which is ahead of its motion at the edge of the Oort cloud.
Okay.
All right?
I've heard of this.
Every single grain of sand
Yeah.
counts
Right. It does.
against the overall.
Butterfly effect.
It's against the overall result.
Right.
Now, one of the things that NASA came up with when they were hit with the question of how you deal with a mountain-sized asteroid that may hit us, right?
Yeah.
And they said, okay, here's your asteroid,
Oh, I've heard this.
and here's your
Yeah.
probe. It never lands, but it stays through rocketry manipulations on the side that you want to pull it, because its gravitational field is enough to pull on the asteroid, but you have to do it way ahead of time.
Yeah. So they
Or
were
you
thinking-
can send lots of objects
Yeah.
across one side. This one comes, another one comes like a machine gun,
What up, man? How you doing?
and that pulls that object around. Now imagine that the size of the object doesn't matter if you have enough smaller objects to constantly be moving closer to that object on one side and further away on the other, meaning really parabolic orbits. We could steer the sun through the galaxy,
Right.
quite literally.
Yeah.
And it's really not, anybody who's really honest about orbital mechanics would say, yeah, except it's insanely large amount of work. It's not hard to conceive of.
Yeah. Right.
But when you consider the fact that the going theory for the long timeline of our solar system was chaos and madness that no human being would want to take a Wayback Machine to, like the moon landing on Earth, right, and becoming new material. Hi, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Fabulous. You look fabulous. So cute. The thing is over those millions of years, all that chaos, anything that was going to crash into stuff and all that kind of thing tended towards a pattern that left it not disabling the stability of this whole solar system.
Right.
We as humans, because of, let's just make a whole big assumption that Earth is temporary and we're screwed if we don't leave, so we're going to believe that's the plan, right?
Okay.
You assume that, then you have to deal with all the preconceivable problems like dumb shits doing stupid things with orbiting asteroids the size of cities.
Mountains.
Okay, not just landing on Earth, but disturbing that overall harmonic balance through the whole solar system, Oort cloud, and everything.
Yeah.
That means that in the end, we're going to need supercomputing on a scale not heretofore imagined in order to make plans and preconceive of what we want to do with every microscopic amount of mass in the entire solar system, with enough room for people to do the business they want to do.
Yeah.
And right now, the best people in the world positioned to be that little sliver of a diamond inside of a very sophisticated vise, with a little touch of aluminum and a whole bunch of carbon, right, that turns into an artificial diamond. The people that are in that analogy of a position are guys like yourself. They haven't entered the Space Force yet. They're not in the upper leadership, who in the end will not be the big players for decision makings of policy further down the line.
It makes sense.
Also, in the same cadre are the biggest, smartest, most dangerous screw-ups
Yeah.
who will fuck us over
Yeah.
on a literally stellar scale.
Astronomical level.
Yes,
Yeah.
unless
Biblical.
unless we plan for it
Yeah.
in very, 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 very bold and forward-thinking ways,
Yeah.
like having a plan to expect large populations in space, to celebrate their rapid population growth, to have the equivalent in space of all the same social structures we have down here on Earth, like a Coast Guard, like police,
Yep.
like the Navy, Marines, and so forth,
Yeah.
on top of Constitution-based law that's scalable.
Yeah.
That means that as fast as the population can expand, your law can keep up with that and still stay familiar and stable over very long periods of time.
Right.
We need that. And you are in that position. So congrats.
Freaking hope so. How's work? Pretty good. Yeah. How's yours?
I'm going to take off. You
Yeah.
have an awesome day. It was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
Don't be a screw up.
I mean, do you come around here? I mean, I've been hitting this place up. the past
I'm a
3
long
days.
distance hiker. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I might be halfway between here and Boise, somewhere in the desert with a cat.
That's cool.
So
I wish I had the luxury of doing stuff